Hello viewers, good day. Hope you all happy and healthy in this pandemic situation. Welcome to my channel, Learn for Pleasure with Sarah. For those who haven't watched my videos before, I'm gonna give my introduction again. I'm Sarah Islam, completed my BBA in Finance and Banking from University of Dhaka. Now I'm doing my MBA. I provide online classes on finance and banking through this YouTube channel. Besides these video classes, I also provide online courses on finance, accounting, CA, CMA under the banner of Nexus Study Center. You can also find English, Bangla tutorials for secondary or higher secondary level. So viewers, if you find this video helpful, you can contact us to Nexus Study Center. Contact information is given on the video and also in the description box. So let's roll down to the topic today. Today's topic is stock valuation. Those who have watched the videos before might have wondered that why am I discussing about stock valuation today? Because I was supposed to make a video on time value of money final class, but due to large number of requests on stock valuation, I proceeded to make a video on this topic. Later on, I'm promising that I will make the final class video. So students, topic today is stock valuation. So under the topic of stock valuation, the matters we'll discuss today are definition of stock valuation, growth rates, terms essential for stock valuation, conceptual terms, mathematical problems. Whilst doing finance maths, students face problem in valuating stock rather than valuating bond. Why? Because in case of stock, there is normally there are several types of growth rates, and growth rates also differ. In case of stock and bond, there are many differences. So are their formulas. So this is why students are facing trouble in case of stock valuation. So it's time to get to know, to learn more about stock valuation. Nothing to be afraid of finance. Nothing to be afraid of stock valuation. Just proceed, just learn. The more you will learn, the more you will be fearless. You will feel no hesitation, you will feel no fear. Then the thirst for knowledge, the more you will learn, the more the thirst of knowledge of yours will grow, so that it will help you to get pleasure from learning rather than boredom. It was a little discussion on off topic. Now it's time to move on to our topic today. So first of all, I want to tell something about stock valuation, that why there's such big difference between stock valuation and bond valuation. Because stock is company ownership, while though it's a source of financing, bond is a source of external financing. And in case of bond, terms, condition, maturity, rate of return are always termed and fixed. But in case of stock, there are heterogeneity, lots of heterogeneity. Different in stock depends on the feature of a company itself. So this is why it differs. Also, stocks are mainly perpetual, like there's no fixed maturity date in case of stock, and also in case of required rate of return it also varies. So in case of valuating stock, students face several problems, and students also find it difficult, also occurred. So to remove this awkwardness, here I'm to discuss in detail, but today's video is mainly targeted for the beginners, um, the students who are right now proceeding to learn about stock valuation, the things that are essential to learn at first level. Today I'm gonna discuss all these topics. So first question is, what is the stock valuation? To fight against your enemy, before arranging the weapons, first you should learn about the enemy. You should learn the definition of enemy. You should get to know the enemy. So before knowing the enemy, you should try to define himself or herself. So what is a stock valuation? Simply from the stock valuation term, we can say valuating the stock. So what is the stock and what is valuation? Firstly, we will discuss about the later we'll discuss about the valuation segment. In case of finance, always valuation means calculating the present value of anything. So in simplest term, it is calculating the present value of a stock. But what is a stock? Like there's also some many ambiguity in case of stocks and share. What is a stock and what is share? In simplest terms, stocks are or shares are mainly used to express the company ownership. They are small fragments of total company ownership. Later on we will discuss the difference between share or stock, because shares or stocks are not the same things. But all the shares can be termed as all the shares cannot be termed as stock, but all the stocks are termed as share. So why am I saying this? Later on we will get to know. So here we can see, in case of stock, there are some related terms like dividend, required rate of return. In broader sense, stock valuation is calculating the total present value of the dividends, if exist, along with the present value of share at the end of any certain period. So if we divide this definition into different parts, we need to know the meaning of each parts, like all these related terms. Dividend. What does dividend mean and what does dividend do? We know company mainly functions for profit. So each year when it makes profit, all the profits are not all the profits are not used for investment purpose. A portion of profit is meant to be divided to the shareholders. The portion of profit that is meant to be divided to the shareholders, this is known as dividend. So this is a major phenomena in case of purchasing a stock. Why would people purchase a stock? To get dividend. So in case of valuating a stock, dividend valuation is also very important. This is why. So we can say dividend is the cash flow from a stock. Okay, then required rate of return. It means the expectation of the shareholders who would purchase the stock. Their expectation can be termed as in a mathematical manner in a rate of return. This can be termed as required rate of return. Um, Here also we can see that present value of a share at the end of any certain period. Okay, we can say so in simplest manner that stock valuation means calculating the present value of all the cash flows we can derive from the stock. So the cash flows we can derive from a stock, that can be divided into two parts. One can be of dividend and one is the value at the end of certain period, which means at the right moment if we purchase the stock, if we sell the stock at the market, how will it be valuated? So these two types of cash flow, if we combine their present values, we will get the value of stock. This is the basic formula for stock valuation. Okay, in case of valuating stock, a major thing is growth rate. So this growth means, what's growth? Growth means dividend growth. How the dividend grow and how we should deal with this. This growth can be of three types. One is zero growth, two is constant growth, and three is non-constant growth. So from the definition, or by taking a simple look here, zero growth means no growth at all, which means every year a certain amount of dividend will be paid on the share itself. There will be no change on this amount, which means a stable amount of money, which means zero growth. And we can also state it as the dividend will never grow. This type of rate is called growth rate. In case of constant growth, it means a stable growth rate, which means there will exist a percentage of growth. And like this way, 5% or 10% each year dividend will grow at a 5% rate forever. Students, viewers, you need to remind this very well that in case of constant growth rates, there will always be a percentage, and this term will most of the times be noted like forever or for perpetuity or for infinity. This type of things always mentioned. So it is a very important thing to identify growth. It is a very important thing to identify what type of growth rates we have to deal with. Third is non-constant growth. Non-constant growth means, yeah, it will grow, but in a way it will remain unstable. Like it will not remain in a same percentage. Like there can be given several percentage, 2, 3, 4% of growth rates. So by looking at this type of several percentage rate, we can term it as non-constant growth. So students, before evaluating stock, we must take a closer look on the question paper, that what is required in the question and what type of growth rate it is stating to. Like what does it want, and right now what does it have. So we should consider this matter very efficiently and very attentively. We should read the question paper before solving the problem. Once we can understand the language of the question, language of the mathematics of finance, it will be very easy for us to work on the path of finance. It's time to move on the all the essential topics we need to know before doing the maths of stock valuation. These all are the simple terms we always have heard, we have heard before, we always hear, we have heard before, but most of the times we are not clear about the concept of them or not clear about the definitions. So here I thought, for a beginner, for initial user of stock valuation, or initial who wanna study or learn more later on, but now he or she um, wants to have a primary knowledge about stock valuation, he or she must know these all terms. Okay, let's take a closer look. What are they? CAPM, Capital Asset Pricing Model. Among all the pricing models used in case of finance, this is the most common, easiest, most popular pricing model. It describes the relationship between systematic risks and expected rate of return for assets, particularly for stock. Simple, it works with risk and return. It was developed in early 60s by William Sharpe, John Linter, Jack Traynor, and Jane Motion. It highlights on what kind of risks related to return. So the expression of this model can be as ER is equal to RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Simply we can say CAPM describes how the way we should calculate our portfolio return, our assets return using markets factors. So what are these market factors? Number one and most important is risk-free rate of return. Then question arises, what is risk-free rate of return? We know rate of returns can be of two types, risk-free and risky. One is on risk-free asset, one is on risky asset. Risk-free rate of return means the return about which we are certain that the lender will pay us for sure, like the government itself, treasury bills, government securities. We are always sure that government gonna pay it us at after certain time. So the rate on government securities, the rate on risk-free assets are called risk-free rate of return. RM means market return. Currently, on the return in which capital market is functioning, the weighted average of this return is called return on market. Beta. Beta is a parameter that we use to measure systematic risks. What is systematic risks? Systematic risks is a portion of total market risks which is totally unavoidable, like for natural disaster, like nowadays for corona pandemic, or for any huge financial distress, economic fall. This type of risks may occur and this can never be avoided. This will always remain even in a little portion, at least in a little portion. So these risks should always be considered in case of pricing. In case of pricing model, in case of calculating expected rate of return, as we cannot avoid it by following any measure. So the parameter used to describe systematic risk is called beta. So now we should know what is stock and what is debenture. I have said what is stock valuation, but I haven't made the concept clear that what is stock. Now, for knowing stock, you should know what is share. Share is the smallest portion or the smallest unit by which a total capital of a company is divided. Each share is of equal amount of currency, equal amount of value. Each share is equally priced. So when some shares are accumulated in a fund after they are being fully paid, they can termed as stock. In annual general meeting, when company decides to convert shares into stock, then they start to do this process. This is a process done for the welfare of company, and so stock is is surely different from the share itself. While share is the unit, stock is a combination. Stock is a collection of multiple shares of single or several companies. Every stock is identified through a definite number known as distinctive number. A share can generally be converted into stock after it is fully paid. Later on, we will discuss the difference between share and stock. Okay, debenture. The way stock was expressing the ownership of a company. Debenture expresses the external financing or debt burden or loan of a company. It's a financial instrument company uses to take loan from an outside company, outside bank, in a financial institution. When a public limited company observes that with the stock they can't go on with their expansion process with further investment, they feel the need of external financing. They use this source of financing as debenture. Now the most important term in case of valuation, that is overvalued and undervalued. When the true value of share is higher than the market value, this share is undervalued. In this case, investor purchase the share in low price because they expect it to rise nearer to the true value in future, which means when true value is greater than the market value, then the stock is termed as undervalued, and in this case investor follow the purchasing strategy. The opposite case happens. Opposite case is true for overvalue. So we can simply say that we know that book value and market value most of the times aren't the same. Why? Because market is like an ocean where book value market where book value, that means inside the company, it is like a pond itself. So in the ocean or in the sea there are always tides, which means there are many market factors which always working spontaneously by itself. As a result, value of the stock value of the stock regularly change and regularly adjust to all the market factors change. As a result, there always remains a difference between book value and market value. So when we see that this book value is higher, but currently at the market the share is valued lower than this price, we can see it is being priced lower than its actual price, that is undervalued. In this case, why investors follow the purchasing strategy? Because they expect that as the true value is higher near future, it will tend to get at a higher price, and once all the market factors are adjusted, they will reach its true value at any time. So if right now they purchase in a low price, later on they can sell it to high price and can gain profit. In case of overvalued share, it is being priced it is being priced a high value, is in a value higher than its true value. So investors expect that later on they may face a loss if they hold it in the current price right now. So in this higher price they sell it to the market, and later on they expect that as the true value is less, after when all the market factors are adjusted, it will reach to its true value. Then they can purchase it again and they can earn profits. So the market participants like arbitrager, like speculators, they are always careful of adapting these strategies and overvalued and undervalued. Here's another important thing to know about, that is free cash flow. Free cash flow is the cash a company generates after taking into consideration cash outflows that support its operation and maintain its capital assets. In other words, free cash flow is the cash left over after a company pays for its operating expenses and capital expenditure. In simplest terms, it is the residual cash flow after meeting all the requirements like daily operation or investment purpose company has it in its hand. The cash flow is called free cash flow. It is very important because in case of valuation of a company itself, it has a critical role. So after knowing all the terms related to stock valuation, now let's get a deeper look that I promised at earlier segment that I will discuss about share differences between share and stock. So here I go. Share is a portion of company ownership, where stock is a collection of shares of multiple companies or can be single companies. Where share is the smallest unit of a whole company ownership, stock is a collection of shares which can be of the company itself, which can be of several companies. Like share is a unit, stock is a fund. Shares are issued at par discount or premium, which means at the face value or less than the face value or over than the face value. But in case of stock, no such thing exists. Okay. In case of shares, it is regular circumstances, an integral part of the company. Like a corporation cannot go on without shares. It is the first and foremost need for constructing a corporation. But in case of stock, it can be termed as special cases, like after taking a decision in annual general meeting or special meeting, shares decisions can be taken. Should all the shares be converted into stock, or which segment should be converted into stock. All same types of shares have equal values. It is a very important difference. Like shares are always equally valued. Like a share of X company, all the shares of X company have the same values: $10, $100, $1,000. But in case of stock, each stock can be of equal value or can be of different values. There's no such essential criteria that all the stock should have equal values, because stocks are funds, so they are not the smallest portion of fund. Okay. In case of share, they can be either fully paid or not, and a stock is always fully paid. So as I have mentioned earlier, that all the shares cannot be stock, but all the stocks are share. This state, this proves the truth of this statement. Like when the shares are fully paid, only then shares can be converted into stock. But share when it is partial, a share can be partially paid. This time we cannot term it as stock. Shares don't have any particular number, because all the same types of shares, all the same company share have equal values. But in case of stock, each stock can be have different values, so we use a distinctive number to differentiate between the stocks. This is like it would seem hilarious, but like what we are discussing all about stock valuation, but we haven't discussed importance of it, why we should evaluate stock. uh, we students should know about stock valuation, like our purpose is to study and learn. But in case of company, why stock valuation is so very important, so now we will discuss on that matter. Number one, that is for investment decision. To take fruitful investment decision, stock valuation is essential. Like which stock is overvalued, which stock is undervalued. Before investing on this, we should set up our strategy. We should arrange our weapons. So for this, stock valuation helps us to proceed on our way for war. Second, for best risk estimation. After knowing about overvalued or undervalued, we can measure risks properly, like which stock is riskier or which stock is less risky. Um, Risk estimation or risk measurement is very important thing. And in case of stock valuation, after knowing the true values of stock, we can measure risks easily. For strategic planning, Planning is always related to the future, using the present scenarios and historical values. We set up a picture, set up a simulation for the future, but we are never certain about the futures. To make us more certain, the data, the information, the calculation we gather from stock valuation, it helps us to build best strategy for the farm. For increasing profitability, farm is always oriented for profit. Whether it's the short-term goal of farm to maximize the profit and ultimate goal is to maximize the wealth. But in short-term, company works for profit all the time. So in case of increasing profit, we always set the best strategy for investment. So here comes the importance of stock valuation. It's time to discuss some mathematical problems. Here I have discussed all the primary topics. Later on I will take a deeper look. I will dive deeper or dig deeper on the mathematical problems. Okay. Here we can see a question. The next dividend payment by Hot Wings Inc. will be $2.10 per share. The dividends are anticipated to maintain a 5% growth rate forever. If the stock currently sells for $48 per share, what is the required rate of return? So viewers, what I have said before, we should learn first that what does the question require from us and what is this currently having. It is currently having the dividend payment, that means D1, and growth rate is 5%. Take a closer look. Forever means there's no change on the growth rate. So students, it is 5% growth rate, that means constant growth rate. The dividend will grow at a constant rate of 5% forever. And also here given the price of stock. So what should we calculate here? The required rate of return. So we should proceed. We should use the formula for Gordon growth model, and it is as, after shortening it, we can have PO is equal to D1 divided by R minus G, where PO stands for price of the stock, D1 stands for dividend, R stands for required rate of return, G stands for the growth rate itself. So here PO is equal to 48, D1 is equal to 2.10, R is not given, we need to calculate it. G stands for 5%. So after solving the equation, we will have required rate of return is 9.375%. Metropolis Corporation will pay a $3.04 per share dividend next year. The company pledges to increase its dividend by 3.8% per year indefinitely. If you require an 11% return on your investment, how much will you pay for the stock today? So it's time to get an attentive look what is asking for and what's given here. Here's given dividend $3.04 per share and growth rate is 3.8%. Viewers, you can see here is indefinitely, that means constant growth rate. So if you require an 11% return, that means required rate of return is 11%. So what is it asking for? It's asking for the price of stock to be calculated. PO, the formula for solving this problem is PO is equal to D1 by R minus G. PO is price of share, D1 is dividend, R is the required rate of return, G is growth rate. So simply solving the formula, we will have $42.22 is the amount of the stock we will have today if we wanna purchase or if we wanna sell this on the market. Thanks for watching, viewers. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned with Learn for Pleasure with Sarah and Nexus Study Center. Stay connected. For any further query, contact sarahmohna@gmail.com.